Welcome back to another episode of LOCPOD. We're your hosts, Khaled, the marketing manager of Legends of Crypto and LOCPOD producer, and David Freed, the game designer at Legends of Crypto. In this episode, we're joined by Kerel, the chief marketing officer of Seascape, the ultimate gaming platform designed around the DeFi and NFT economy. Hi. Thanks for joining us. I'm wondering, so there seems like there's always like a segment within the crypto industry, within the blockchain industry, that people are saying it's going to be the next big segment to drive blockchain adoption, to drive growth, and in every single time, it looks like the results kind of are short-ended, right? So there's a lot of projection. There is not a lot of implementation or reality to those predictions. So in this case, NFTs are now being compared to DeFi, as in they're going to be as big as DeFi. They're going to be the next major segment to make everybody adopt blockchain and to get more into gaming and blockchain integration. How true do you think that is? And is it more like DeFi and NFT must work together, or are they two opposite forces here?
First, I'm going to go back to the first thing you mentioned. There's always the next big thing. I think it's because the nature of the market is cyclical. Like, there's like seasons or cyclic with the next big thing coming. For example, the last bull market, I'm going to say we're still in the bull market. So the last one is, 5 years ago. We had like all the ICOs popping up, and that was like the big thing. The issues is, as you said, there was a failure of implementation. It took a while, to happen. The difference here is that NFTs have been around for a very long time, and there's already some implementations. So I absolutely see your point in saying that NFTs, people are saying it's the next big thing is happening. The difference is that it's already being implemented. There's already things coming up. But that does not mean that everything is mature and ready to go. And we've achieved, like a very full widespread adoptions. No, it's there's differentiation in the fact that we already have good projects with good implementation, but we didn't finish. We're not at the finish line by any metrics. So I think NFTs are big, very, very big. There's huge implementations, some already there, but it is going to be one of the next big thing for me. Doesn't mean it's going to happen next month. It is happening, but it's a process. Everything in crypto is always a process. It takes a long time to implement and develop anything. We already have working projects with NFTs. We have there's an NFT marketplace, there's a lot of things, but it's still very, very far from maturity. And also I'm particularly excited myself. I really love NFTs because I see huge possibilities for real world applications with like new possibilities that we actually do not have in traditional gaming, traditional assets, or a lot of the things. So NFTs, our market is not going to reach maturity next month. Basically, it's going to take a lot.
Okay,
it's going to take a long time.
Well, then 10 years pass, and NFTs go in exactly the direction you're thinking, and owning NFTs. What does that NFT economy look like when everything's done just right?
First of all, we do NFTs for gaming, but I wouldn't. The best thing about NFTs is the possibilities, the applications. We should not only say about gaming. It's much more than gaming. It could be a lot more things. Particularly, I'm interested into the gaming because I'm a gamer and I love NFTs, but we shouldn't just restrict it to that. The potential is amazing. You could have like NFT contracts, NFT life insurance, houses, cars. You could have like maybe you need an NFT to open your car, or maybe to open like the door of your house or something, You can have maybe NFT Airbnbs, like, oh, this is my stay, I own it, or for that duration, I could maybe pass it along to someone else or something. There's a lot of implementations. The economy then is going to be it needs to reach maturity. The problem right now is that we see a lot of the marketplaces really lack some major features, major possibilities. The NFTs are still very much into the collection phase. It's coming into the utilitarian phase with, for example, what we're doing, NFT gaming and economies, trying to bring actual, values, tangible values to these assets rather than just, oh, I think this is a painting is worth that much. No, now you actually have implementation of these NFTs. You know how much they could be worth. The economy, it's gonna transit, I think, from just purely peer-to-peer to also having businesses implement NFTs within the ecosystem. For NFTs could also be simple as your passports, your insurance. As I said before, you could, do you have your insurance here? This is my NFT for the insurance. Like you have a public, people could read it on the blockchain. There's like a public aspect to it. You go to the doctor, you say, this is my NFT. They check it, check the information. It goes back to your passport, which is also an NFT. I mean, there's tons of possibilities for that. So how exactly it's going to work out? I'm neither a prophet nor the one making it solely. It doesn't depend solely on me, but I think it's going to be much more interconnected. Business are going to get into it, and we're going to get much better blockchain with faster and cheaper implementations.
Yeah. Can I go a little dystopian on you?
Yeah, go on.
So Elon Musk's robots are now everywhere. And so we're going to store our NFTs with our robot companion who goes with us everywhere. I mean, we're going to have to give our NFTs to our robot companion to do shopping for us and go to
worse, you could have your NFT like in a chip on your shoulder or something. I already saw some cheap things to be able to access some clubs or something, or your bank
I have
card.
heard about people chipping their. I think it went right into the between the thumb. Yeah, or was it on this side? And they used it to get into your office. That seems horrifying. Like, what happens when you get fired and you have to?
No, I think so. Imagine you could go for NFTs. That could be your wallet instead, and then you have to return. Like, you basically have an application, you put it there, it reads. You have the private keys or something, and then so your wallet would always be with you. The issues there is if wallets are with you and people know where they are, they could come. So there needs to be like a 2FA, like another thing,
Well, that's why I would store mine on my robot who could, kill them. But then of course, when the robots become sentient and they just have all our NFTs on them, they just walk away with all of our.
I mean, I think if they try to become sentient, there's different possibilities with robots. Like, I'm not one of these guys who say like robots are like killer soul. Like, why would it make sense for them? Would it be much? I think rather than having a robot war, it would be much easier for them to just get away, go to another planet. They don't need to breathe. They don't have this issue. Rather than fighting us over here, they just go somewhere else.
Like
yeah. I mean, resource-wise, it's more logical for them, I guess, to go over there. They can, if they don't care about the physical body, they could transmit themselves over there. They just need a few people over there or something, or they could, reproduce or multiply over there much faster. And resource-wise, for me, that's more logical. I don't really see this. And also, we don't necessarily have to fight. We could just live in symbiosis. So I'm not a proponent of this, like, we're going to fight, etc. Once they become sentient, I don't think also it's going to be slightly gradual. I do think it's exponential, at least by levels. I don't think it's going to be like full exponential. It could be like, up and then nothing, and then it's going to be like stairs.
Yeah.
I hope we're going to see it coming. And also, personally, I don't mind robots being sentient.
Sorry. Yeah, I guess I hadn't thought of that in terms of in an infinite universe, the AI would, of course, be like, well, there's really no need for conflict here. We can go over there where there's far more resources, and because we don't breathe air or need food. So
like, you keep your shitty thing, I'm going to take all the rest. It costs them much less. Because for me, that was just my thought is like, what is the limiting factor for us to go to Mars, etc.? I think it's really, one, you need to be able to go there, but the mass of like support for us is much bigger. That's why people run away sending robots. We're not sending people, because the added support for human life is the factor that makes it hard for us, not only for the trip, but also to be there. It's like, you multiply it by an order of magnitude. If you have sentient robots, you just send a few. That was actually my plan right now. I shouldn't say it on the podcast, but like, you put robots and then you make them stay on Mars and then prepare everything for you before you need to, rather than send little by little, just have robots do all the work. Hopefully not sentient ones, so that we can go there.
Is that why Elon Musk is making robots now? I wonder.
Maybe he thought about my idea after me, though. I thought about that years ago.
You must definitely,
That's a
definitely
fun.
first.
He read my secret diary. That's how it goes.
Um, what if we get robots to work in those sweatshops? Is it unethical at that point?
If we
they're
make robots
sentient.
work in sweatshop, yeah, if they're sentient, that depends, because you say that right now, but we're making them do the trash, we're making them do a lot of things. If people actually read the Matrix, the Animatrix or something, they would see the
Animatrix.
humans are the assholes. The robots gave chances, gave 2 or 3 times chances to people. Basically, humans were mistreating the robots horribly. The robots got away, created their own nation, and then just said, like, hey, we just want to be left alone. We're working. And then they just have the economy. They went to the UN and say, hey, here's an apple. Let's share it. There's no need for us to fight the Senate representative, male or female, just to imitate us and try to be as close to us as possible. The answer from the human was killing this representative and launching nukes and missiles and everything they had of that nation. Then the robot was just like, okay, fuck it, let's go to war. And then the human just then did the whole covering up of the clouds. And then the robot was just like, okay, fuck it, let's just do the Matrix. I mean,
Which side are you on?
At that point, I would be the robot, because the robots won and they still kept the. I mean, I know it's because they had, for the story, they had to say there's a why. There must be a why the robots kept the human, etc. But I mean, really, they could have done nuclear or something. They kept the humans. They won. They were mistreated horribly. They still kept the human in the story. Sorry, but if the human won, they would have destroyed all the robots. So.
Yes, they would have.
Yeah,
because they're jerks.
Yeah.
Well, it's pretty clear that in the Matrix, they're not using them as a power source. It's pretty clear they're using them as I would say CPUs. Like the human brain makes an excellent CPU for robots to develop within.
Okay.
So that's my theory for the Matrix. I don't know. I've done way more analysis of the Matrix than
Isn't there like Matrix 4 coming? I'm guessing we're gonna get some answers, no? Or was it just me who saw that article?
No, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm excited about it. They got Keanu Reeves and everything. Carrie Fisher, everyone's back.
Wait, so there's another Matrix coming up?
We'll see what they do with that. How they
finish it up.
Okay, sweet.
Coming up, yeah. 2 and 3 were not the greatest, but if you parse the dialogue in when they talk to the architect, there's a lot of clues in there that not everything is as it seems, and that I believe Neo is actually a program of the Matrix.
Well, that's that's kind of like what he said. You are in a way part of the equation by being.
It can be interpreted both ways.
Yeah.
So it could be interpreted as like he's just the latest incarnation of a human being who is part of the equation that screws it up, but it really seems like he is a program who's meant to send code back. But that also would mean that his powers in the real world, that's not the real world. That's just another layer of the Matrix. Zion is another layer of the Matrix.
So now we go Inception Matrix.
So we started with NFTs, and now the world is ending. Guys, NFTs are trouble. No, I'm kidding.
No, I mean, so that I'm guessing in that sense, would humans be NFTs in Matrix?
Yeah, effectively.
I would say no, because they can be accessed and changed by the system. That's the difference. If humans were NFTs, they couldn't be accessed by the agents, and then you'd remain sane.
That's true.
You can't change.
So that's all. Whether NFTs will help blockchain adoption. I want to reverse the question. Okay, when it comes to gaming,
but also before you had another question, DeFi NFT, do they need to work together? Yes and no. They can. They work well, very, very well together. They don't have to.
They don't have to work together to make blockchain like a very, 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 very big thing.
Yeah. I mean, DeFi was there before. I mean, I'm not going to say before NFTs, but like this as a standalone DeFi worked, as a standalone NFT also works. It just worked really, really well together. It's like, what was it again? You mix 2 things and it gets, there was like a sauce where you put 2 things together. It's amazing. mean, for me, it's ketchup and mayonnaise, and then you get American sauce. But there's like a bunch of examples where you put two things together and it works really well. Doesn't mean that separate things, they don't work. Just they work in synergy, basically, for me. If implemented well, they can work in really good synergy. But that doesn't mean that they also are dependent on one another. They could also work in synergy with other aspects of the blockchain that we either already have but didn't think about or will have in the future. As you said, this is the latest iteration that actually has been going on for a while, but now it's just becoming a fad. Well, fad is not really a positive word, so I'm going to say like the latest hip things. Implementation is coming. There will be others in the future too, and you need to stay on top of things. And also you need to separate, well, the fads to actual positive additions to the blockchain.